When you're growing up poor and you don't have much of anything, the biggest currency you need is hope. And that's the one thing I had and my family had, and it was instilled from my mom and from the rest of my big Latino family, which is like, you can do this, right? If you keep your nose clean, work hard, you're going to accomplish this.
The View has been taking L after L after L, bringing on all these guests, these people of color who lean on their side, lean left, and are mind boggled by the fact that they are not giving in to the woke agenda that they've been spewing year after year after year. They had Charlemagne, didn't work. They had Stephen A. Smith, didn't work. Now they have Senator-elect Ruben Gallego, I don't know how to say it, but he's been on here and it does not work. And we're gonna break this down this video in just a moment. But before you do, make sure to subscribe to RT News to ensure to YouTube that you are enjoying these videos so they'll continually show up in your feed. And then if that happens, they'll push it out to even more people so they can also enjoy these videos as well. I'm Titus, let's get into this video.
What can you explain to people I can't even, why is it that, because I know what I want to say, but I have to think of all the words I can't say.
How does that impact your vision of the American dream?
Yeah. Well, number one is believing in the American dream. And, when...
That's not allowed. Believing the American dream, believing that if you come here, you can partake in life, liberty, and the pursuit, you got to put in some work, pursuit of happiness. The fact that he just said that believing the American dream is already something that contradicts what we've been stating or what they've been stating for years upon years is that it doesn't matter that you're in America. You are a minority. You're a marginalized community that has the whole system against you. There's systemic oppression. There's no way that you can make it. And he just said believe in the American dream. So trigger one for them, I'm sure.
When you're growing up poor and you don't have much of anything, the biggest currency you need is hope. And that's the one thing I had and my family had, and it was instilled from my mom and from the rest of my big Latino family, which is like, you can do this, right? If you keep your nose clean, work hard, you're going to accomplish this. And every day it was hard. It was hard working those after school jobs. And I was lucky to have teachers and family that were also very supportive, but it was all worth it. And I thought about it back in the day at the age of 14, 15, that if I work hard, I'm gonna succeed. And if I succeed, my family will succeed. And that was like the thing that drove me every day. And then, on the campaign trail, one of the things that I saw that was probably the hardest thing to hear was people saying and feeling like, I'm working so hard and I don't think I'm gonna make it. And then the worst thing to hear after that is, I don't think my kids are actually gonna be better off than I. And for us that are parents, and I'm lucky to have 2 kids, that's the worst thing, because we're willing to sacrifice whatever we can for our children, right? And we'll take the personal hits. My mom took the personal hits, working the hard jobs, having to sacrifice a lot, but she knew that her kids would be better off in the future. And when you're hearing it on the campaign trail, they just don't think it's gonna happen. That's when you know that there's something really wrong in what's happening right now.
Yeah, and I wonder what those things are, because people weren't saying this 4 years ago. People were saying, wow, there were people saying orange man bad, but there's also people saying, wow, gas prices are so low. Wow, things are so much less expensive. I wonder what the cause could be. I wonder who could be responsible for this, or at least would be a very massive contributing factor to the fact that we were living better, more prosperous, more safe, the borders were secure. So it's like these things, people are really frustrated and stressed out about the state of our country and what we've been going through and how hard it's been. And so, it is unfortunate that you could think that the future could be harder for your children. So when you pass on, there's nothing to give to them. There's nothing that they can look forward to in terms of how they're going to live their life financially, through safety, or from feeling safe or whatever. It's like, you don't want that. Nobody wants that for their kids. You want to work hard so that they don't have to deal with the hardships that you had to deal with. And we are currently under an administration that has been propagated and propped up by this show and many others alike that have been trying to lie to our faces and saying that it's more important to focus on the people that their skin color is bad, the people that want to be in bathrooms with the opposite gender because they identify, or whatever the reason may be. And focus on these people because they're so out of touch and so privileged that they don't have to experience the weight of all the things they want to push on the American people themselves because they live in their private gated communities and all that stuff, that they're just so out of touch with the reality. And so this man, I don't know him very well. I know he's a Democrat, so he probably disagrees on a lot of things. At least he's acknowledging that the American dream is attainable and that the American people are not having access to that through what we're currently going through. And so that's a positive thing to see from someone who's on the other side, and hopefully he's willing to actually work with the Trump administration.
Well, Senator-elect, when you first got into the race, some said that you might be too progressive to win Arizona. I actually said it here, despite the fact that I was always a fan of yours in the House. You came in with a class of a bunch of veteran freshman members who I thought had a great impact on both sides of the aisle. But you beat Republican Carrie Lake in a swing state that Trump won by 5 points. What did Democrats take from the race that you ran?
Look, I think one of the things that we had the advantage of is that I was running for 2 years. And I went everywhere in the state. And I took no population for advantage. We talk about Latino males. The reason I was able to kind of understand what's happening there was because, growing up Latino and working those work sites and working overtime just to help out my family, I understood the frustration I was hearing out in the community. And we were focused right away on the cost of everything, groceries, rent. But even, being out there and talking to not just my Republican friends, we were talking to Latinos who are also frustrated about the border. And we started talking about how, something's going on at the border that's different from what people have experienced in the past, and we need to actually focus on this and talk about solutions. And we did it over and over, and we went all over the state.
That's actually hilarious because Sunny was literally telling I don't remember her name, the one that was just asking him the question. She asked her on a previous show, she's like, they're trying to figure out how Trump won Latino men. He won Latino men because people were concerned about the border. And while she's trying to explain it's because of the border, it's because of the illegal immigration, all these people coming over here, taking away all the opportunities away from them because they went through the legal process, the legal way, and then all these people just came in and are reaping the benefits while not going through the hardship they did to be able to come to this country, come into the land of the free. This was their concerns. And while she's trying to explain for that being the reason to Sunny, misogyny. It's misogyny. They hate woman and they don't want a woman to be the president because that's the only way on earth, that's the only possible way that Kamala Harris could have lost because of misogyny. They're bobbing her head looking stupid. I was so mad because they're so freaking deranged. They're so deranged. They could not conceptualize the fact that maybe, just maybe, people don't want to deal with what they've been dealing with. Because like I said, you're in your gated community. No one's touching you. You got security up there, name, license plate, checking everything out, making sure that the people that are coming into this gated community are actually supposed to be in here, as opposed to the people who live in apartment complexes who can't afford that and it's being run down by the Venezuelan crime gang. And who knows what, drugs being shot up while parents are trying to bring their kids to school in the middle of the street. Like, you are so out of touch. And he actually, I don't know him, but props to him for actually acknowledging that it is an issue that Americans are concerned about and want to see changing. It's absolutely ridiculous. And notice how she's not saying anything. Maybe she will, but my goodness.
And, Arizona's a big state, and we went to some places that haven't seen anyone even ask for the respect of someone's vote. And we went to a tribe in northern Arizona that we actually had to fly into Utah and drive 2 hours south.
Wow.
And no one had actually come and asked for their vote in decades. And so we did that, and we did it repeatedly, and we did it in an honest and earnest manner where we wanted to earn people's respect. We wanted to know that we may not agree with you 100% of the time, but I will be there to fight for you because I know exactly what you've gone through, and I still feel it in my core every day.
Yeah, so it's interesting how they all went hush mode because you can't say anything to the guy because he's a Latino, right? He's a marginalized group. He's saying the American dream is possible. He's saying what we're dealing with right now is really sucky and that there needs to be a change. And he's promised to be, a soldier in the army of fixing our country, for lack of better words, at this current moment in my head. So it's like, it's cool. You want to do something to help America become better. You're on the Democrat side. As I said previously, you probably are opposed on a lot of belief systems, but at least he's acknowledging issues that got Trump to win in the first place. The border, grocery prices, inflation being so bad. These are things that people wanted to see change. These are things that people are struggling with because of the state of our country under this current administration. And so it's so funny seeing how the View hosts were just silent, hush mode. They didn't know what to say. The only one who was communicating in a positive light, seemingly, or communicating anything, because I don't think she opposed anything he was saying in this moment, was the one who I believe is a Republican. So they're just kind of like, But anyways, it's always fun to see them like not know what to say because they get completely, whatever it is they were trying to push narratively, they have people like this guy, Charlemagne, Stephen A. Smith, just say, this is really what the issue was. This is really why it happened. And it's always fun to see them look silly because they are silly. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and you're commenting your thoughts below. I love going through the comments and seeing what you guys have to say. It's really fun. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.